90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with Areasports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at Areasports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. Good morning again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here on a Saturday morning. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounceman, and it's a time change day too, Danny. I mean, we're going to be, before we go to bed tonight, you move your clock 1 hour forward. That means more daylight in the evening. I like that.
Me too.
I don't like the idea of losing an hour of sleep, but I like the idea of more daylight.
I wish they just put it on this upcoming time and leave it there.
Oh, I know. But this is real important to you farmers because you need all the daylight you can get when you get heavy into the farming season, right?
Yes, we do. And it, well, like you said, even for the working man, it just gives him a lot of daylight and stuff. You can get some things done when you get home.
That's right.
I see Florida voted yesterday where they're going to leave it on that time in the state of Florida now.
For the whole state now?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was a situation where part of it changed and part of it didn't down there. So
yeah,
maybe they'll think about doing that in Illinois. Who knows? Hey, good to have you on the show this morning. We are going to shift gears a little bit. Yeah, we're going to still talk about basketball because the state tournament's going on in 1A and 2A, and of course 3A and 4A played sectional championships last night, so we'll get into that and talk about that. But we're going to shift gears and talk a little high school baseball and high school track and field this morning because it's time to go that direction, isn't it, Danny? Yeah,
you're transitioning away from the basketball and firing up on these other things, but the weather's going to have to change for the baseball season and softball season to get started.
Yeah, it sure is. On the show with us this morning will be Billy Rogers, the head coach of the Fairfield Mules. Also, Tim Holloway, the head baseball coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. Jeff Karcher, the head baseball coach at Hamilton County. Then a couple track and field coaches, Clint Turner from Mount Vernon and Sam Wilson from Hamilton County will be joining us on the show this morning. So we'll have those 5 guests on. We're also going to talk a little bit about college basketball. Some big games coming up, of course, today and tonight. The Big Ten's in a 3-way tie between Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue, and all of them play today.
Yeah, there's a lot to be determined there.
And, of course, I got my Michigan State shirt on this morning, so you know who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
But you may have a couple more under it.
Well, you never know.
So you never know but with you.
Yesterday was the end of the line for the SIU Salukis as, they came into the Missouri Valley Conference tournament as a 3 seed, and they made an early exit. They lost their first game in the quarterfinals to Northern Iowa yesterday, and it looks like it's also the end of the line for their coach.
Yeah, it is the end of the line. He resigned last night after it. Him and the chancellor had an agreement that if he didn't get to the NIT or the NCAA tournament, that he would resign at the end of the season. And he took care of that last night. Yeah,
Barry Henson we're talking about. Of course, he's been in the Valley for 16 years, the last 7 with SIU, and he was with the Missouri State and Southwest Missouri as it was before that.
You got to give him some credit, though, Randy. He cleaned up a program that was in shambles, academic-wise, and had become nothing but a bunch of thugs. So, give the man credit for that. He didn't have an easy situation when he started, but he just couldn't win.
No.
Just couldn't win.
Nice guy, really nice guy, honestly. If you talk to him, he was a super nice guy, but just could not win. Couldn't get into the tournament. And you got to get into the tournament. That's what it's about.
The question is now, I know who you're rooting for. Who's going to be the next head coach?
Boy, there's a lot of names swirling around, isn't there? I don't know. I'm not sure what direction they'll go. You've heard a lot of people talk about
Brian Mullins.
Yeah, him, and then also the coach down at the JUCO there in Carterville.
Smith Peters. Kyle Smith Peters.
And then, of course,
Kent Williams.
Kent Williams, too, who was inducted into the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame yesterday.
That's the 3 names you're hearing right there.
Unless they bring somebody in from the outside, but you would think they would want one of their own.
Yeah, Smith Peters has done an excellent job down there. Mullins was a great player for him, and he's working under. Is it Purdue now? So and the Purdue head coach has former ties. He was at SIU for a little bit.
Yeah.
So Mullins may be a strong candidate. Kent Williams, heck of a player, heck of a coach. doesn't have the college experience, but it'd be interesting to see if they go that direction.
Well, he's got the college experience as far as being an assistant. He's just not been the head coach anywhere in college, but he's been an assistant, for many, many years at Tennessee.
This may be
Missouri
his
State.
chance.
Yeah, you bet. Might be his chance. Could be. And look what he's done with that DeSmet high school program in St. Louis. Is he got them in, when they go, something like 25-4 this year or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've
In
really
his
turned that
second
program.
season.
Yeah, so he's really turned that program around. Yeah. So also later on the show, we'll go through the list of high school basketball players that were recognized by the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association all-state selections, Danny, for Class 1A and 2A. And several players in this area were selected, so that's good news. So we'll go through that list a little bit later on.
Always nice to get some accolades.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we'll touch upon St. Louis Cardinals as well, as spring training is still going on. But, Danny, why don't you run through the scores of the state tournament action and sectionals from last night, and then we'll get our first coach on the show, okay?
All right. In 1A yesterday afternoon, Cissna Park, the number 1 ranked team, defeated Central A&M 56-44. Excuse me. Providence St. Mel 66, Concord Tripolio 41. In the 2A, Chicago Orr 83, Chicago Corliss 50, Nashville 47, Gibson City 45. So it'll be number 1 Nashville against number 2 Chicago Orr tonight, and that Orr team looks pretty salty. At Mascoutah in 3A last night, East St. Louis continues to roll 77-60 over Mascoutah. At Springfield, it was Springfield Southeast 66, Lincoln 43. In the 4A at East Moline, high-scoring affair there last night. Belleville West 95, Danville 83. So that wraps up the 1 through 4 action. So it'll be East St. Louis taking on Springfield Southeast on Tuesday night to see who's going to advance. And in 4A, Belleville West, the number 1 ranked team in the state, they keep on rolling. 95-83 there last night. So it'll be Cissna Park and St. Mel in 1A today, and Chicago Orr and Nashville in 2A. Earlier in the week down at Carbondale, Nashville defeated T-Town 41-28, Gibson City 52, Pleasant Plains 37. In the 3A sectional, East St. Louis held off Heron 61-52 in a game that got pretty chippy down over at Mascoutah. Belleville West beat Alton 59-49.
So, Danny, today in the 1A championship game, you got number 1 Providence St. Mel against Cissna Park. That's number 1 against number 2. And then in 2A, you got number 1 against number 2, Nashville against Chicago Orr. So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, in that 1A, St. Mel, they'll be a pretty tough out there. Mm-hmm. And in 2A, I don't know if Nashville can slow that Chicago Orr team down or not.
They're baseball right now, and get into our first coach this morning, who's going to be Billy Rogers from the Fairfield Mules. He joins us on the phone. Good morning, Billy. How are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Great.
Fine morning.
Good to have you on the show. Welcome. And, hey, it's baseball season. How about it?
Finally, my man, finally. We've been chomping at the bit. You know, the guys have been ready to go for a while, but Mules made a pretty good little run in basketball, so we were patient, and, of course, rooting on the basketball team because, you know, at the high school level, winning carries over.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you saw football carry over to basketball, and now hopefully basketball carries over to baseball.
Yeah, and you've got some of the same athletes on that baseball team that played both football and or basketball. I mean, there are still some that are just baseball only, but you've got a lot of some of those same athletes. So winning has been contagious in Fairfield, hasn't it?
Most definitely, and yes, we have, as the starting 5 of the basketball team, Kane Hicksonball and Wyatt Gilbert. Both 2 of my big players, and then along with Blake Pruitt and Logan Trent are 2 of my starters as well. So, you know, I had 4 of my pretty much 9 starters that were busy hooping it up when we were starting practice.
Yeah. Well, and you've got a beautiful, redone, remodeled, however you want to call it, refurbished baseball field there at Veterans Park. And, man, that is really, really nice. Spent a lot of time spent on that, a lot of money spent on that. A lot of people have worked behind the scenes to make that happen. But what a great new home for the Fairfield Mules.
Absolutely, and like you said, the people behind the scene, they're huge, and there are too many to list. But they've done a great job, and in fact, we've been out on the field a couple times to practice, in the midst of some inclement weather. But it's just been great. It's an option we wouldn't have had 2 years ago. Two years ago, it would have been a muddy mess, and we wouldn't have been able to get out there. But we've been able to get out and be on the infield and get work done. Spatial work, where you need to be spread out to get to work on cutoffs and work on pickoffs and all that stuff. So it's paying dividends already.
Coach, that has to be a big benefit to your program because, like you said, a lot of the other teams around the area, their fields haven't even remotely allowed them the opportunity to get out on the field. So, that puts your team a little bit ahead by that great addition you have over there. Yes,
it gets us a little ahead. You still have places around in southern Illinois like Harrisburg, where they're on an all-turf field. But by and large, most places are grass field and stuff like that. So we've been fortunate, and if it just warm up a little bit. My guys are not real fond of the 36-degree outdoor practice.
I wouldn't be either.
Me neither.
I found out as I get older and I get a few extra layers on me, it's not nearly as cold as I remembered it.
Isn't that the truth? And you're going to jump right into play this coming Monday because you're going to be playing over at the Weber Township High School Trojans baseball tournament, and you guys play, on Monday against Christ Our Rock, I believe, at 4 o'clock, right?
Yes, sir, 4 o'clock, Christ Our Rock Lutheran out of Centralia, and we start in with them on Monday at the tournament, and then Tuesday we actually play a home game against Grayville. Then we're back over at the Weber tournament Thursday and again on Saturday.
All right, and other teams in that tournament include Woodlawn, NCOE, Waltonville, Odin, of course, the host Weber Township Trojans, and Ziegler-Royalton. So those are the teams in that tournament. So, yeah, you'll play Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at that tournament. And then you have that home game with Grayville squeezed in between. So if the weather holds out, you're going to get a lot of games in next week, so you're going to know a lot about your team right after the first week, aren't you?
Yes, sir. That's the plan. We want to get as many games in. We schedule pretty heavy at the beginning of the season. We want to get as many games in so we get as many looks at our pitching as we can get, as many looks at swings as we can get, because, there's no rest for the wicked. So when we hit week 2 and we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in week 2, we're at Benton, then at home against Flora, then we're at Waltonville, and then we're at Mount Carmel in week 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at your schedule. I think overall you've scheduled something like 27 games, and I think it's pretty well split, 14 at home and 13 on the road, I believe is the way it looks right now anyway. But we all know that every year in the springtime in baseball and in softball, you always end up scheduling more games than what you end up playing because Mother Nature does its thing.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. In fact, we are always, my athletic director, Mr. Wells, is always looking to add games. Because, you can schedule 34, and if you're lucky, you'll get to play, 26, 27.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, we're always looking to try to add some games. And, of course, you want to try to add the big teams. Mm-hmm. You want to play against the bigger schools and the schools with tradition. Because that's how you get better.
Right. Well, and I've always said that in baseball, I think you can throw the classes out the window. I don't think it really matters. You think so too,
No,
Danny?
I don't. The only thing I see that really limits this baseball right now is this pitching deal.
Yeah, right. The pitches. Pitches, yeah.
You take a team that's got 3 or 4 kids that can throw the baseball. That's kind of an advantage to some of these smaller schools that may only have 1 kid or so, or a couple kids that pitch for them. With this pitch count deal, it's been a deal for coaches to manage.
You are exactly right. I'm blessed right now with pitchers. We go about 12 deep as far as guys that are pitchers on our team. So I'm able to look at a 4-man starting rotation, and then another 3 or 4-man relief rotation, a 1-man closer. But that's not a luxury that most schools our size have. Mm-hmm. And that's when the class difference comes into play. When you get the bigger schools like the Salems or the Richland counties, those bigger schools are just going to have more arms.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you get down to smaller schools like Fairfield or even smaller schools like Wayne City and Sisti,
mm-hmm.
They're in a pinch. They're pretty limited. If they get 3 or 4, they're in good shape.
Well, and when you start to try to get multiple games scheduled and then you get a week where the weather cooperates and you get to play all those games you got scheduled, that's when the crunch really comes.
Yeah. Then that's when the cupboard starts to get bare pretty quickly, and especially if you have a guy that you're counting on, you think he's going to give you 5 or maybe 6 innings. If he starts getting roughed up in the 3rd inning, then you almost have to go into damage control mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, who am I going to put in now? Who am I going to put in now? Type thing.
Yeah, I mentioned 27 games you had scheduled. That's what I saw online, but I've already got a message this morning from one of the parents, and he says now we've actually added 2 more games already, so you're now at 29 that are scheduled. Yeah. But again, trying to get those in depends upon the weather. Well, let's talk about personnel here if we can. You mentioned your pitchers, your starting rotation and stuff. We'll let you go through those, and then you may not know position by position yet who your starters will be, but if you can kind of go through the roster and give us an idea who's coming back as your key players this year and who you expect to play at different positions, and really let's talk about that pitching staff, if you would, Billy.
Yeah, no problem. Our pitching staff, the guys that I'm looking at as my 4 starters in my starting rotation will be Cade Carter. Cade's a junior. He's returning. A returning first-team all-conference player in the Black Diamond Conference. Blake Pruitt will be in my starting rotation. He's just a sophomore, but he's solid. I think Blake went 4-0, 3-0, or 4-0 last year on the mound. Michael Garrett is a returning pitcher. He's a junior. He'll be one of my starters. He's worked really hard in the off-season and picked up velocity. And then my 4th starter will be Kane Hicksonball, the basketball player. He will be the 4th man in the starting rotation, and he's also a junior. So, you know, when you look at my pitching rotation, I only have 1 senior in my entire 12-guy rotation, and that's Johnny Jones.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's always nice.
And then what about relievers then? What you got?
When you go to relievers, I have the benefit this year of I actually have 2 lefties. One of them is Cam Gardner. Cam just moved to Fairfield from Olney this year. That's what you'll take, a transfer student that's a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
And McGuire Taylor, who is a freshman, he's a left-handed pitcher. And then we will go Caden Taylor, McGuire's older brother, is a junior. He is a right-hand kind of a relief specialist. He's my middle relief guy that can come in and, you know, give you up to 80-plus pitches if he has to. Max Puckett he is a sophomore. Max is a big sophomore. Has worked his velocity up. He's throwing mid-80s right now. He'll be my closer if we get the opportunity to use that role.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a few of them. Then, of course, I have like Dylan Best, who is a freshman that's a pitcher. Then you have Kelby Rush, who's a freshman that's a pitcher. Oh, my gosh, there's so many of them to name. Chase Hallam is one of my freshmen who's a pitcher. So we're looking pretty good in the pitching situation.
Yeah, that's great. All right, well, how about position players now? Run through those if you would.
Position players, I'll be returning one of my two seniors that was a starter last year, Alec Pruitt. Alec is my catcher. He recently signed his letter of intent and committed to Missouri Baptist. So he's going to be playing in MoBap next year. And then Logan Trent will be my other senior returning. He's an outfielder, returning starter. Caden Taylor, I mentioned him as a pitcher. He'll be an outfielder, right fielder. Wyatt Gilbert be my returning shortstop. Bryn Hobbs, returning second baseman. First baseman will be by committee. That will all depend on who's pitching that day. But that'll be Kane Hicksonball, Max Puckett, or Michael Garrett, or Cameron Gardner. So those are a lot of the names that you're going to hear a lot. And out of those names, 5 of them are returning first-team all Black Diamond Conference players.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's always nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Speaking of the conference, how do you see the Black Diamond shaping up this year? Where you expect Fairfield to be, and who else is going to be competing for the top spot in the conference?
Well, I tell you what, if I said that we weren't going to contend to win it, my players would string me up. So I think as of now, I feel like we're possibly the team to beat. I think Johnston City under Trevor Clark, I think they will be good. I know they have 5 or 6 seniors that should be starting for them, so they're going to be good. Edwards County, Coach Duncan, every year, man, it's like a machine. Every year they're right there. So I think that the 3 of us will be the 3 teams to beat: Fairfield, Johnston City, and Edwards County.
Okay, all right. So preparing for Monday then, that's the opener there, as you'll play over at Weber Township in that tournament at 4 o'clock Monday afternoon against Christ Our Rock. That'll be the season opener.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it.
And then Tuesday at home against Grayville. So Mule fans that want to come and watch the team at home at the new Veterans Park can do that at the new field, or refurbished field, I should say. And that's will that be a 4 o'clock start on Tuesday?
That'll be 4:30.
4:30
start on Tuesday.
Okay, against Grayville. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Billy, we appreciate your time this morning, and best of luck as you enter the real season next week, and look forward to seeing what the Mules do this year on the baseball field, okay?
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Take
Good
care.
luck.
Okay.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Billy Rogers, head baseball coach of the Fairfield Mules, very optimistic, and boys got some key players coming back, though, Danny, so that speaks well, and sounds like they're pretty well loaded for pitching.
Yeah, and that'll be a big benefit to him to have that many arms.
Oh, my goodness sakes. I mean, pitching's definitely where it's at, not only in the major leagues and college, but certainly at the high school level and the grade school level, too. I mean, you got to have the pitching. And you brought up a very good point about, this rule about the number of pitches and stuff, because that can really play havoc for teams that, don't go very deep with their pitching staff.
Well, you just wait till you talk to some of these other guys and you see what they have to say about one of their concerns is going to be pitching depth.
Absolutely. We'll talk to another very, very successful baseball coach, a guy who's put a lot of players into college baseball. I've lost track of how many guys he's got playing college baseball right now. That's Tim Holloway of the Mount Vernon Rams. He'll be on the show with us next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning. I'm Randy Olson along with Danny Ouncement as we come to you live both on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at areasports.net and live audio streaming at wvyn.org. Talking high school baseball and high school track this morning. Got another baseball coach on the show with us right now. One of the most successful programs in this area, of course, is the Mount Vernon Rams year in, year out. They have not only contended for a conference title and went deep in the postseason many times, including trips to the state tournament, but they've put a lot of players into the college ranks playing baseball and have several still playing college baseball today. Head coach Tim Holloway joins us right now. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, guys.
Great to have you on the show. I know you're driving this morning, and so we got you on Bluetooth, so it might be a little bit hard for people to hear, but we'll give it our best shot. But, hey, it's that time of year again, and I'm sure you are ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready to go. I'm not liking the looks of this forecast today.
Right. Yeah, we don't need all this rain. I think it's been soggy enough as it is. But, boy, you've got a beautiful field out there, though, in Brennan Klein Field, one of the nicest fields around, and it drains very, very well. And you're blessed to have that, aren't you?
No doubt. It's a key for us. We get to stay a lot of time. Maybe something else.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Tim, is there any chance that you could pull over for just a little bit and talk to me on your phone? Because it is breaking up pretty bad on the Bluetooth. Can we do that for just a second?
Yes, 1 second here. Let me pull over.
Okay, we will do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the Mount Vernon Rams are kind of in a similar situation to the Fairfield Mules by having that field up there. I'm sure they've had an opportunity to be out on the field taking some of that, and there's not many teams around have that chance.
No, that's right. You with us now, Tim?
Yes.
Oh, that's much better. Hey, thank you so much. We won't keep you but just a little bit here, but
no problem.
Talk about the schedule you got coming up, and when does your season officially start?
So we're supposed to open up Tuesday at home against Salem. That's a game we played for quite a while, opening day, and then we scheduled back in maybe 2006. Peenyville, we started playing Peenyville. They had some very good teams, state tournament teams, and we kept that there on that Wednesday. and then we play in the Prep Baseball Report Kickoff Classic on Thursday at 1 p.m. against 4A Oswego out of northern Illinois. So that's what we got this week, and then opening up, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday next week with Triad and Civic Memorial. So a lot of games within the next week and a half, and hopefully we can get them in.
Yeah, hopefully so. What is the rule now as far as the IHSA is concerned on baseball? I know basketball expanded it to 31 games this year. What is the rule on IHSA for baseball games that you can play in the regular season?
Regular season is 35.
Okay.
And, some years we get to that. Some years we might be a few short, but many years we've got to that in the regular season, and then of course if you win a few in the postseason, you get a few more games. But everybody's trying to get those in, and we have a few turf fields scheduled early, which might help us out. It's always a battle.
Are you in some tournaments too during the regular season, Coach?
We're in that Kickoff Classic, and then we go to McCracken County. We've been doing that for a while, probably 5 or 6 years. And we played McCracken County this year, the first game, and they've had some SEC kids. They had those 4 good high schools, baseball schools, going to one school. So they're a load. They win 30-something every year and been a state tournament over and over. And then we play Covington, Tennessee, who was ranked number 1 in 3A in Tennessee last year. They got 2 guys signed with Memphis. They got a Tennessee signee and an Austin P kid, and there'll be a load down there. So we do that, and then we're going to typically, tournament-wise, that's about it in the regular season.
Well, I know that through the years you've had so many guys that have went on to play college baseball, and you got several playing right now. I know that you were doing updates for everybody on Twitter here recently, and I wish I had that in front of me because you got a lot of guys that are playing right now all over the place, don't you?
Yeah, they're fun to follow. It's a challenge to keep up with them all with the early season things that we have to get done and responsibilities, and plus we've got some clinics we're finishing up and my 12U group, and but I sure enjoy when I get a chance to check on them and see if, hopefully they've done well. And also, if they have a tough day, let them know that, hey, keep your head up, it happens, and we're behind you, that type of thing. So I know going to school and playing, it's nice to have some support from back home, and hopefully we can give them some of that.
Well, you've certainly had a lot of success at Mount Vernon through the years. I guess it's your 15th year, and out of the last 9 years, you've won the regional 7 of the last 9 years, and, of course, got a 4th place finish in the state in the 2013 season. Talk about the roster, if you would, the guys that you got coming back who are going to be keys for you this year, and if you want to, go position by position or talk about your pitching staff first or however you want to do it, Tim.
Okay, we'll start with pitchers, and, our top guy coming back is Weston Brockhouse. Weston's a 2-year guy for us. He pitched as a sophomore as well. He's a guy that we'll lean on as a starting pitcher that has gained some velocity and I think has some good things going for him. He also brings a presence and just that experience and his personality is nice to have as a leader of our staff. And I've got, we've got quite a few kids. One thing I did when I started, when we opened back in 2005, 2006, we had just a couple guys that threw with much experience anyway, and we started making every kid in the program do all the pitching drills, and we're fortunate to have a lot of pitchers, and I don't know if that's helped or not, but it hasn't hurt. But we've got about 12 guys right now that I feel like if the situation was right for them, they could give us some innings and hopefully those strikes give us a chance to compete. But Blake D is another guy that threw maybe 35 innings last year, threw well, threw 3 pitches for strikes. He'll be back. Parker Wilt, we're taking it pretty slow with him right now. He's a closer type that's had a little early season soreness. We're going to hold off and just work him in slowly. And then Billy Beckham is our shortstop that can throw. And other guys we're looking at are Charlie Allen. He's got some experience. Cade Morgan has experience. Robbie Emery. Carson Pro threw well against Highland last year as a freshman. Brock Wilkie, Kanan Dilday, and Carson Wright. And even Jackson Elliott as our catcher might be a closer for us. So try to utilize those guys in the right situation the best we can. As far as our catcher, Jackson Elliott is a returning starter. He'll be pushed by Luke Willis, who's really made some improvements this year. And Blake Dees is also capable as a catcher. And then at third base, you've got a senior, Cade Morgan, and Blake Dees is another guy. And then a sophomore, Hunter Simmons, who's a very physical kid, has the arm strength. I think is only going to get better, but he'll push those guys as well. At shortstop, Billy Beckham, and we really like Parker Jennings defensively. Parker could play second or short, and when needed. And Robbie Emery is another guy that could play that position as well as third. At second base, again, Jennings is a junior. Carson Pro is a sophomore that had a good year last year, and offensively brings a little bit as well. And one of the positives of me being able to coach Legion last year in the summer is I got to see guys like Carson and Robbie Emery and see them a lot in different situations, and they were impressive as far as their approach and production and consistency. And I developed a lot of trust in those guys. But Emery could play second. At first base, our returning guy is Charlie Allen, who swings it well. He's a big old country boy. He's a man of 1,000 nicknames, but he's a lot of fun, quite a character, and really swings it. And then Carson Wright, it was our DH last year. He could compete there along with Matt Baker, who's a left-handed bat that could compete possibly in that DH role. And getting to the outfield, Jordan Morrison is a junior that's very good defensively. Carson Wright is working in left field as well. And then Baden Rutherford is a sophomore that might push or maybe give some speed in certain places. Parker Wilt will be our starting center fielder. Very good player. He had a very good year last year, both at the plate on the mound defensively. And then we're looking at guys like Robbie Emery, Briar Van Eyck, and Kanan Dilday and Wright. Unfortunately, we've had some odd injuries in the off season that do not really pertain to baseball, but we've got a couple guys coming back from those, and I think they're going to be maybe not 100%. They'll be ready, and unfortunately, Matt Nelson is probably out for most of the season with a broken hand. So he's a senior that started for us last year.
Yeah.
But that pretty much, I know I threw a lot of names at you, but it just shows you that, hey, it's going to be day-to-day, week-to-week, who's competing in practice, who's producing, and the challenge is going to be getting those guys who are maybe better offensively in at the right times, and then the defensive guys possibly late, and just working it the best we can.
Well, you got some good numbers and a lot of good guys returning from that team last year, that's for sure. You went 22-12 last year. In fact, you've won at least 22 games each of the last 4 seasons, so it's been quite a baseball tradition that you've got going there at Mount Vernon with the Rams, no doubt about that. You mentioned Weston Brockhouse as a starting pitcher. You know, Danny, at 6'7", that's a pretty imposing figure throwing down at you at 6'7", isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure he can bring it.
I'm sure he can too. Is that something that he would like to do at the next level? I know his brother's doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to pitch at the next level. He's got some options. Just hasn't quite decided yet, but no doubt he will pitch at the next level. And several of those guys, Beckham's going to Rend Lake, and Will's finalizing, his decision. So there's several of those guys going to move on, and Weston's a guy that I think he's going to, he's shown some improvement early on with his velocity and just the feel for a few pitches, and I mean he's a good pitcher. So he's going to get the other team's best, and he's going to get those tough games, and that's how it is when you're a senior. But he'll give us his best and a chance to be competitive and win. Yeah,
well, and his brother Walker is pitching for the University of Memphis, right?
Right, that is correct. Did very well yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think he got to pitch against Indiana here recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he did well against Indiana and had a tough outing. They go to Arkansas. He got bumped back. He ends up throwing against Arkansas. Had a little bit of a rough outing, which is going to happen. They're a high-level program, and it's all new for him. And then he bounced back with a very good outing last night. I read where their coach was talking just how he's an electric arm and has a lot of potential and some good things about him. So he's doing well.
Real quick before we let you go, let's talk about the South 7 Conference. Where do you see the Rams at this year in the South 7, and who are the other teams to beat in the league this year?
Well, as all the other coaches would say, in this game, one bad inning can do you in. So a couple walks, base hit, a few pass balls, and you get beat. So they're always I know we never overlook anyone, but I think that Marion is going to be tough. We shared the conference with them last year, and a lot of times it comes down to who has the big arms in those close games, and you have to find a way. And they've got the Jackson kid signed with SIU. That's he's going to be mid to upper 80s. At least he was last year. There's no telling where he's at now with a good slider, and he's 6'6" or so. So we're going to have to battle him, and I think the conference was young last year. I think everyone will be improved, but we always take them the same, and we'll have to play well and be focused every pitch.
Yeah. Well, Tim, hey, we appreciate your time this morning. It's great to get an inside look at the Mount Vernon Rams baseball program prior to the start of the season, and best of luck as you open it up next week, and we'll talk to you down the line, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you, Tim. All right. Bye-bye. Tim Holloway, head baseball coach at Mount Vernon. 15 years he's been there now, and you talk about building a program.
Oh, yeah. He just keeps cranking them out up there.
Sakes.
If you could see the list of the kids that have got an opportunity to go continue education out of his program, you'd be amazed.
Yeah. He has won 312 games, lost 179. In the 15 years, he's had only 2 losing seasons in the 15 years. He's won 20 or more games in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those 15 years.
That's pretty amazing.
4th place in the state in 2013, and has won 4 regionals in a row, and 7 of the last 9 years won a regional. So
he's got it rolling.
Got it rolling, that's for sure. Winning percentage of like 640, I think is what it is. So
that's pretty good.
In a tough league, and playing a tough schedule, too. You got Oswego. And
well, when he starts talking about teams from Tennessee and 3 or 4 other places, you're thinking, wow.
Yeah, but pretty interesting. All right, we're going to talk to another baseball coach, Jeff Karcher from Hamilton County, here in just a moment. Danny, you got those scores up that you can bring up again? In case people joined us late, we can just run through those again real quick.
All right, at the 1A state tournament yesterday, Cissna Park defeated Central A&M 56-44, and Providence St. Mel over Concordia 66-41. At the 2A yesterday evening, Chicago Orr, the number 2 ranked team, defeats Chicago Corliss 83-50. The number 1 team, Nashville Hornets, defeat Gibson City 47-45. But Wayne Harry's team's going to have to shoot free throws a lot better today than they did last night. They about let a game get away against Gibson City by poor free throw shooting. Gibson City is only the 6th team to have scored over 40 points on them all season long. At Mascoutah, East St. Louis defeated Mascoutah 77-60. And at Springfield Southeast, 66, Lincoln 43. And in 4A, Belleville West, 95 points, Randy. That's amazing. Over Danville, 83.
Yeah, E.J. Lydell, I think, had like 5 dunks last night and something like 7 block shots in that game. And, he was
a man-child.
Human highlight film there last night, from what I understand. I was talking to somebody who was actually at the game, and he said they had 3 guys with more than 20 points and really put on a show. So Belleville West might repeat this year in 4A. Who knows?
There's a good chance.
There's a good chance. That's right. All right, we're talking high school baseball this morning, and let's talk about the Hamilton County Foxes right now. Jeff Karcher joins us, head coach. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great. Good to have you on the show. And when does the season start for the Foxes?
We're supposed to start this Friday, the 15th, at home versus Crab Orchard. Of course, currently the weather's looking nice and sunny out, of course, and there's no telling when we're going to be on the
field. This is kind of a depressing weather forecast for baseball coaches, isn't it?
It's not been good. I think it was the first, we started on the 25th. I think it was the 26th and the 27th. I actually had my infielders out at Kiwanis, because that field's about the best draining one there is, and we were out there taking at least a little bit of ground balls, but other than that, I've had the outfielders out once to catch flies, beside that, we've been indoors since. It's been cold and rainy.
Yes, it's been a pretty tough start to the spring baseball season. That's why I always thought they ought to play football this time of year and play baseball in the fall. You know, you can play football in any kind of weather, and it's usually hot and about to burn up playing football, and it'd be great to be playing baseball when it was hot, wouldn't it?
Yeah, junior high has a great season usually. It's usually perfect for them in the fall.
Well, talk a little bit about your Foxes team, Jeff, what you got coming back and some of your key players.
We've got 4 seniors this year, one of which has not played ball in years. He decided to come out, a nice little left-handed kid named Dakota Lowry. He can actually throw the ball pretty hard. We've been pretty pleased with it. So we may be able to get some pitching out of him being a lefty. Last year, of course, we had 7 seniors. We lost a good chunk of good players. Fortunately for me, 3 of those players that played for me last year have come back and joined the coaching staff. And that's Caleb Chapman, and Alex Rapp, and Braden Cross are all helping out. So I'm glad to have those kids around, and they know the kids real well. Played, we're teammates with a lot of these kids, so they're doing a good job for me. Also got Trey Gordon. Trey has worked extremely hard in the off season, and he is absolutely murdering the ball in the cage. Last year, Trey had some moments. We got into some strikeouts, things like that. But if he can carry what he's doing in the cage over the field this year, he's going to have an outstanding year. Austin Gray is going to be my shortstop. He's pretty much the anchor on the team. Has been for a long time. Great defender, great left-handed bat. Knows the game real well. Going to do some pitching for me. He's just a good all-around player. And then I've got Sammy Leakey. Sammy got a little JV time in last year. I think he hit 600 or 700 JV ball last year. So if he can bring that, to the varsity level and even cut that in half, it'll still be good for me. He's going to be in the outfield. Then I go down to my juniors. I've got Trevor Gray, who set out last year and just ran track. I had to talk with him in the off season. Got him to come back and play this year. Got a lot of speed. He played for me when I helped with the JV team when he was a freshman. I thought he was the most improved player we had. Good little outfielder. Like I said, he's got a lot of speed, decent little bat. Of course, when you set out a year, it's tough coming back. But I think he can really help us out. Of course, Garrett Webb's coming back, outstanding athlete. You guys know from basketball, the kid's he's just an all-around athlete, big, strong kid. He'll hold down the fort in center field. He's been murdering the ball in the cage as well. He's looking real good, so hopefully he can carry that over too. Who I'm real pleased with, Coach Penny Van Winkle and I, he's my assistant coach, my JV coach. We've been talking, and Brock Bowling has showed up, and he's been lifting with football all winter long. This kid showed up. He's put about, 15, 20 pounds of muscle on since last year, and I'm actually calling him Bader because the way he gets that long hair going in his build, he passes the eye test. He looks like Bader, plays for the Cardinals, so that's what I've been calling him. He's been hitting the ball well, and what ground balls we've been able to take and the grounders we're taking in the gym, he's looking real good, and we're real pleased because he's going to have to, depending on who's pitching, he's going to have to rotate around the infield. So he's going to have to play short, second, and third, just depending on who's throwing for the day. So I hope that he can continue looking like he is in practice. He's looking real good. Got Luke Williams. Luke's going to hold down the fort, probably a little right field and JV ball still. He's still developing. He actually has been hitting the ball pretty good in the cage, so we might be able to get him squeezed in there some varsity time. Frank Zachman, of course, he's going to be my catcher. Frank can flat rake. He's always been a real good hitter. He got a few DHs in for me last year. Of course, he was backing up Caleb Chapman last year at catcher, so that's kind of like backing up Yadier Molina. You don't get a lot of time in there. And he's got some big shoes to fill following Caleb. Caleb was a great catcher for us. Zach Weaver, he's going to be our ace. He was a second pitcher last year as far as behind Alex Rapp. He's going to have to step it up and act like an ace, and he can do it. He's got a lot of ability. He's built like a pitcher, 6'2" and lanky. You can't ask for anything more. He can throw the ball hard. If he can throw strikes, he'll be in good shape. And then I've got last year I got Zach Flanagan. Zach played some good JV ball for me last year. Good little second baseman. He can play outfield. He's got a nice stick on him too. He's having some medical issues right now. He's been sitting out this week. He's waiting to get the doctor, try to figure some stuff out. But he's a good little athlete, and he's a strong kid too. He's a good football player. I like having him around. Sophomore-wise, we've got Will Bowers, nice lefty. He's going to get a lot of pitching time for me, probably some right field time. Good little ball player, loves the game. Aaron Roberts is back. Last year, he was the first time he played, like, ever, I think. And he showed up, and we've been pleased with what he's been doing in the cage and around. He's going to be a nice little player by the time he's a senior. And then Braxton Reagan, he had a shoulder injury last year and just got it fixed with surgery about a month ago or so. And so he's going to be helping. He's going to be kind of like my assistant on the team. He's going to help out with stats and all that good stuff. He's a sharp little kid. Avery Smith, another kid. It's first year he's played in years from football. He's a big, strong kid. We've been working with him, doing the old building blocks, getting him where he needs to be. But if he sticks with it the next couple of years, we could use him. He's going to be a nice little ball player if he stays with it. Freshman-wise, I think I've got 9 out, which is awesome. You guys know that freshman class is a good group of athletes. Looking forward to having them around. I got Dalton Nichols. He's going to play a little second base for us probably. Tice Gordon, you guys know from basketball, good athlete. He's probably going to see some varsity time. He can do anything, play anywhere. Lane Poor's out. Good little left-handed pitcher. He's got a heck of an arm. Kid can run. He's fast. He's a good athlete. I had to talk to him, make sure he was coming out, and he's doing a good job. He can hit the ball a little bit too. Aaron Webb, of course, his brothers are both physical specimens and came through and played baseball at the next level at college for us. Aaron's been growing. He's getting taller and getting stronger. Nice little third baseman. He can hit the ball too a little bit. The best surprise we've got coming out is a kid by the name of Caleb Middendorf. If you guys are familiar with him. Always been a good baseball player for us. Was good as an 8th grader, 7th grade. Kid can hit. He knows the game. He literally has grown about 6 inches since 8th grade ball. And I had the pitcher Spilling the other day, and I threw him the ball in the gym. He let loose of one, and Keith Welch actually came out of his office and heard it hit the net, and said, I had to see who was throwing that ball. He can flat bring the ball, so he's going to get some varsity throwing time for sure. Been raking in the cage, gotten stronger, and this kid's going to be an athlete. This kid, if Caleb sticks with it and keeps working like he is, he's got a lot of potential and got a lot of ability to be a great, outstanding baseball player by the time he's a senior. Aiden Futrell, good lefty, can hit the ball, going to be able to throw for us some. Grady Leakey, of course, is a great athlete, going to be a backup catcher. If he can get his arm situation straightened out, he's got some shoulder issues going on. He'll probably be able to fill in a lot for Frank, get him a little break at the varsity level. Grady's been raking in the cage, doing good. Arian Allen hasn't played in years, came out, good athlete, great football player, played basketball too. Kid's a good athlete, and we've been surprised with his defense. He the day we were out catching fly balls, he just went at it like he's been doing it for years, and we were pleased to see that. And then last I got to Brady Thrain. You guys know Brady from basketball, great athlete, got a lot of varsity time in basketball, did some outstanding things. Baseball-wise, if you're an athlete, you can play all these sports. That's just the way it works in high school. And he's going to be a good outfielder and be able to fill in for some here and there. Got a great group of kids. They've been working hard, and I know it's frustrating. We've been stuck indoors, and I don't like it. Coach Penn doesn't like it. The kids don't like it, but we've been trying to do some fun things here and there to keep it going, and they've been working hard, and I'm proud of them, and I think we'll have a decent year this year.
Well, Coach, at a school like McLeansboro or Hamilton County, one of the biggest challenges for you is pitching depth. You get a week where you get a lot of these games scheduled, trying to get games in and stuff. This new rule with the IHSA that they implemented last year kind of creates some havoc sometimes, doesn't it?
You have to look days out and say, okay, if this happens, what do I do? If this happens, what do I do? You have to plan it out, the pitch count, and it's there for the kids' safety, and it's understandable. But yes, when you've got 24 kids on the roster from freshman to senior, I got a few pitchers and I've got a lot of throwers. How about that?
Yeah,
there's a big difference. Sometimes you end up with someone on the mound that probably doesn't need to be there if that was the case, but you got to do what you got to do. And a lot of the bigger schools, they may have 9 legit pitchers on a team, and that's just something you got to deal with.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here this morning. Want to wish your Foxes the best of luck, and hopefully some dry weather and sunshine's on the way.
A non-rain dance would be great, guys.
All right. Jeff, thanks so much. Have a good weekend. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Jeff Karcher, head baseball coach at Hamilton County in his second year. Right. Yeah, second year. Okay. Well,
his dad was a longtime coach in the field, Rod Karcher Field out there. Is named after his dad.
Excellent. Okay. Did not realize that. Well, that's good to know. Okay. We're going to take a brief break, let you hear from some of our sponsors. When we come back, we got a couple of track and field coaches to have on the show with you. We're going to talk to Coach Clint Turner of Mount Vernon and Coach Sam Wilson of Hamilton County. And again, we'll also give you the rundown of the players that were named all state this year by the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association in both 1A and 2A boys high school basketball. And that's important because those are selected by the coaches, Danny. So,
yeah,
that'll be something to take a look at that list. And we got a lot of players in this area selected to that list. We'll take a look at the first team, second team, third team, as well as a special mention. So all of that and more is coming up here on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jaggers Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home, and they will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon.
Programming on 90.9 The Vine is underwritten by ProVision Eye Care. Located in Mount Vernon, ProVision Eye Care has a 90-year history of serving Jefferson and surrounding counties. They provide quality comprehensive eye exams along with diagnosing and treating eye disease. ProVision Eye Care is located at 112 South 42nd Street, and their phone number is 244-0508. Dr. Jennifer Bass would like to share a passage from Proverbs 29:18, "Where there is no vision, the people perish."
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at areasports.net and live audio streaming at wvyn.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounceman. Again, apologize if I sound kind of scratchy this morning. I've been fighting all that crud, that cough and nasally stuff and sinus stuff that so many people have had, and doesn't seem to be any way to get rid of it. I don't know if you know something, text me or send me a message if you got a secret to get rid of it, because I haven't figured it out yet.
You're really opening yourself up to some wild remedies here.
I probably am. Billy will probably send me some kind of crazy remedy. Something he's used on his dachshunds or something, Hey, let's talk track and field right now with the head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. That's Clint Turner. Good morning, Clint. How are you?
Hi, Randy.
Doing okay?
I got a cure for you.
You do?
Hey, I got a cure for you. Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Mountain Dew.
Oh, Mountain Dew. Well, I know that you and Doug Krill drink a lot of Mountain Dew, and you guys don't seem to be sick, so maybe there's something to it, huh?
It cures what ails you, and it'll take the pain off of Pontiac at the same time.
Oh, okay. So take the pain off of Pontiac. Yeah, I believe that. That's for sure. Hey, you guys had a big track meet yesterday already in Marion, indoor thing, I think, and sounds like the Rams did real well, huh?
Well, we were third down there last night, and we're just real appreciative of Marion having their facility and allowing us to go down and hang out with them. So, yeah, we had fun.
Well, it wouldn't have been very much fun to do this outside last night.
No, or today.
No.
Not good out there at all.
No, so, definitely not.
Yeah, a lot of people are competing this afternoon, but we got ours in last night. It's kind of like Friday night basketball. It's different when you compete indoors on Friday night.
Oh,
we had a good time.
I'm sure. When's your first outdoor meet?
In a couple of weeks. We go up to Eastern next week, and on Saturday indoors. Mm-hmm. The indoor state meet would be the weekend after that. But right before that indoor state meet, we go up to Salem and run a dual meet so we can get all our kids on the track on a Thursday. So a couple weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, talk about some of the key guys you got coming back this year on the team and some of the top finishers last night in various events.
Well, we had, I guess, the guy, the big guy that's kind of trying to make his comeback off of nearly killing himself this past year on the motorcycle was Eli Badger, our pole vaulter. But he jumped 14 feet last night, and I think he felt pretty good about what he was doing. I think any normal human being wouldn't even probably be competing, let alone running up and down the runway and things. So hats off to Eli and all the work he's done. And it's been a long road for him, and he's had to, kind of go through all the rehab things, and he's done what he's needed to do, and he seems to be coming along.
That's great.
So we're happy for him. Kevin Perkins is a little sophomore 2-miler last night. He won the 2-mile. I think he's starting to really come into his own. Distance running just takes some time to develop, and he's doing the hard work to do that. So it's starting to pay off for him. Our relays ran really well. What was really nice down there last night, they had fresh soft relays as well as varsity, so we got to get a lot of kids in. They were second place overall, so that kind of helped our team score. And we had a lot of kids run last night. Alex Sledge is a freshman for us that's from Summersville, that was the grade school state champ last year, and he's been able to adapt to the higher hurdle, and he's running really well for us. And so we got a lot of those kind of guys. I've got a big freshman class, probably the biggest freshman class I've had in many, many years. I got
Really?
like 23 kids.
Really?
Yeah, like 23 kids, and usually we average about 10 or 12, per class. But a lot of kids have come out, and a lot of those kids will probably have to help us at the varsity level eventually when we comes to May. But we're happy with where we're at. Our kids, I think, are having fun. Ready to get outside, that's for sure. We just haven't had much of any kind of weather. We had a few years we were pretty spoiled where we could get outside and do a lot of things with the weather early year.
Yeah.
We haven't had that this year.
Doesn't look like there's any of that in the near future either.
No. I know where I'm at and where you're at, and there's some more coming. It's raining and thundering, and not a good day. So.
Well, what's your secret for getting 23 freshmen out this year? I'm impressed by that.
I paid them off. $50 bill.
Well, I was wondering about that. And all the Mountain Dew they can drink, right?
Yeah.
That's why they run so fast.
To talk to kids, try to talk to kids and use the word recruit, but just I think what we're doing, I hope it's got something to do with the work that we're doing and trying to improve kids. Spent time with a lot of kids in the summer, whether they're a basketball player or a baseball player or things like that. Just trying to improve kids.
Right.
And I hope that's part of it, and it's hopefully helping these kids get
well, and I think there's something to that, Clint, and I know you don't want to pat yourself on the back, but I will, because I know you've done a lot of work behind the scenes for those other athletes, those guys playing basketball, those guys playing baseball, those guys playing football, where you've got them out on the track doing different things, different workouts, different stretches, different things that have just helped them get better and excel at the sport they're currently in, and then maybe some of that is carried over to make them have an interest in what you're doing in track and field.
Yeah, it's kids. I cringe at all the specialty-ism in sports now, and at such a young age, kids become, stuck to one sport. And I always go back to I think, and Miss Hari and I have talked about this. Kids of today, let's say in grade school and things, they don't ride bikes hardly anymore.
No.
Most kids, even Danny, I'm sure, rode his bike everywhere to get anywhere.
Man, that was our mass means of transportation.
Sure. And that just, and I may be wrong on that, but I think that has a lot to do with what I see with young kids and their athleticism and their strength. And that's kind of what I boiled it down to. I don't know if that's the whole thing, but just trying to help kids, and I think what's fun is when they see improvements and makes them hopefully better in the long run.
Yeah.
Clint, it's funny you mention that. I've got a boy that's going to Rend Lake College, working part time for me, and we were just talking a couple years ago when he came out there, and he'd never rode a bicycle. I was just totally shocked. I couldn't fantasize a kid had grown up and never rode a bicycle.
Yeah, I mean, I literally lived out, I wouldn't say in the sticks, but I lived out, a few miles out in, and if I wanted to get anywhere or go see my buddies during the summer or whatever, I had to get on it and ride.
Sure.
It's just not happening anymore. But, I think that we just got to keep working with kids, and hopefully on our side of it as coaches, whether at the high school level or the grade school level, just keep working with kids and trying to make them better. Well,
obviously, Marion's going to be tough again this year in the conference. Who else you see as teams to beat track and field in the conference this year?
We talked about that last night with some different people. And, with Marion having their new indoor facility, it's an advantage for them, obviously. I mean, they're jumping every day. They're able to do things on a daily basis that we can't just because we have to do things outside. So I think that's an advantage for them. And I don't know if they're the odds-on favorite for the conference. Cahokia is, always the perennial and good. We've seen them a little bit this winter. I think, you look at Centralia. Centralia was the conference champs in the cross-country meet this year at our place, and they are running very well. But Carbondale, they always do a good job. It's going to be a tight meet. I think it's going to come down who's got the depth. That's what I was kind of talking about. Maybe if we can bring some of our young kids along to add some depth to our events. I don't know if anybody's going to just run away with it, but definitely developing kids here early and filling in, and not just having one good guy in an event. Hopefully you can score 2 places. And I think it's going to be a tight meet. Cahokia is our conference host, so we'll see how that goes over there. We don't run over there.
Right.
So those kind of things play into it, so I think that's an advantage to them a little bit. They've got a nice facility. They've redone it. So we'll see. It ought to be an interesting conference meet later in May.
You mentioned that indoor facility down there at Marion. How did they fund that down there? Do you know? Is that a combination of both public funds and private funds, or what?
Yeah, I think there's a foundation that donated money to their district. They have the 1% sales tax in that county, so it doesn't just go to Marion High School, but it goes to all the schools. I think that's helped a lot. They've remodeled that whole school.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, other than, I think, Cuss Wilson Gym, which has been remodeled inside, they basically started from scratch and rebuilt everything right there on site over the last couple of years. And then they added this athletic facility that has 3 basketball courts in the middle of it, the 4-lane 200-meter track. There's a tennis court down on one end of it, a long jump pit in one corner. The pole vault is over in the other. It's a really nice place. Their weight rooms and training facilities, and it all butts up against the end zone of their turf field. So like last night, good weather, our kids are warming up. They're able to just jump out on the AstroTurf, the turf field, and do that. So they just got a really nice facility that's been well thought out, and boy, they've got a lot of people around there keeping it looking nice and working on helping the people there. So it's a good facility.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, hey, Clint, we appreciate your time this morning. Anything else going on you want to talk about sports-wise? Cardinals about ready for the regular season, huh?
Sure. Trying to get those guys going. Hopefully we always have all this pitching, but we never have enough pitching, and hopefully that plays out.
Yep.
I guess, but is somebody in your studio, do they have a birthday here?
Well, yeah, that's might have leaked out a little bit. I don't know. There's somebody here with a birthday.
Yeah.
Right, happy birthday.
There happens to be a guy here has a birthday today. My grandson told me yesterday, Clint, he was over and he's 5. He said, Grandpa, he said, you're this many. And he held up 2 hands, 5 on one hand, 5 on the other. And I said, yeah. I said, we're a good combination because his birthday was a couple weeks ago, and he's 1 hand. So I'm 50 years older than him today.
Great. That's great. Well, happy birthday. And
thank you.
Just enjoy that grandpa stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. There's not much in life much better than that.
Great.
That's exactly right.
Hopefully, one of these days I'll experience that. I'm just glad I'm not a grandpa yet.
Yeah, but I got to mention the fact that last night was the operetta at Mount Vernon High School, and your daughter Maggie was involved in that behind the scenes doing some things, right?
Yeah, she's. It's hard for her and some kids to do that because there's just so many other things going on at the school.
Right.
But she wanted to. She was able to work in and do help them with their costumes and makeup, and she works on the tech side of it a little bit. They work hard. Boy, it's such a great. If you've never seen the high school operetta, and it's been going on for, I don't know, 70 some odd years, 80 years, something like that. It is top notch. It's great. Your young kids would love it. We used to take our kids, and they would just sit and watch.
Yep.
They wouldn't move a muscle. Our kids put a lot of effort into it. Miss Mazzo is in charge of that. So it's a really cool thing.
And tonight is the final night of the operetta, again, open to the public. And this is the first time they've ever done Hello, Dolly, I understand.
Yeah, and you look at the long list of different shows they've done. Many of them have been repeated,
right?
At least once or twice. But yeah, first time they've ever done Hello, Dolly.
That kind of surprised me. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you enjoy your weekend and keep the umbrella handy, okay?
Yeah. Hey, guys, have fun, stay dry, and happy birthday.
We'll try.
Thank you, Clint. Appreciate it.
See you later, Clint. All righty, bye-bye. Clint Turner, head coach there, track and field at Mount Vernon, also cross country as well. And, man, he does so many things to help the athletes in the other sports. He really does.
Randy, this summer and stuff, it come a little more to the forefront of some of the things that was going on up there. And I think it has showed off in the fall and winter sports, some of the effort that he put in with some of these kids, just trying to improve the athletes.
Yeah. He brought up a really good point there about how kids don't ride bicycles anymore. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
You don't think about that, but it's true.
We lived a mile from town. On a gravel road, and we rode our bicycles every day to school because it was just faster to get there, and plus, hopefully, we had 5 cents in our pocket that we could go by Eileen Allen's grocery store and get some 5 pieces of bubble gum for a nickel, and that was kind of a highlight of the day, and now people are scared to death to let their kids do anything. I know. Mom and Dad just turned us loose, and we had rules and regulations, and we knew what they were, and we stayed in the parameters. And if you got out of the parameters, you quickly learned to get back inside them. And there's just not enough of that in the world today.
And we did it all without a cell phone, Danny.
Yeah,
that's right. I lived about a mile and a half out of town, too, in Flora, and same thing. I rode my bike to town all the time and rode it other places throughout the country to do stuff with friends. And I can remember not only riding my bike to a friend's house out there down the road, maybe another mile or so, but I'd have in one hand my fishing rod and in another hand maybe my tackle box.
Yeah, or your baseball glove,
and that's just what you did.
There were several of us boys in the neighborhood, and whatever sport was in season. Yeah. Our neighbor P.E. Cross, he built his boys a concrete basketball court. Everybody got home, done their chores. We went to P.E.'s house till dark.
There you go.
And you just don't see those things anymore.
No, you really don't. Hey, we got one more coach to bring on the show. Sam Wilson is going to join us from Hamilton County, a track and field coach down there. We'll talk to Sam coming up next. Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson & Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson & Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson & Reeves Attorneys at Law in Mount Vernon at 316-7322.
The Pain Center of Fairfield Memorial Hospital strives to deliver the most advanced, minimally invasive services to restore function, relieve pain, and renew the hope of our patients. We serve individuals with chronic pain caused by a wide variety of medical issues, and the chances are we've treated someone with pain just like yours. Don't wait. Start living without pain today. If you are experiencing chronic pain, talk to your doctor about visiting us at the Pain Center of Fairfield Memorial Hospital. Take your health into your own hands and stop the pain. For more information, call 842-2082 or visit fairfieldmemorial.org/pain.
Hey, welcome back to the Sports Couch here, live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine, and also streaming live worldwide on both websites. Live video streaming at areasports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounselman, and we got one more guest on the show here, and that is the head track and field coach down in Hamilton County. That is Sam Wilson. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the show this morning. track and field season is here, and when does it all begin for you as far as your first meet?
Well, we had a boys indoor meet last night at Marion.
Oh, you were down at Marion too. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, we just had Clint Turner on from Mount Vernon, and he was talking about that meet and about the great facilities down there, so you guys got to experience that too, huh?
Oh, yeah, they have top-notch facilities. It's amazing. I wish we had something like that around here.
Yeah, unreal. So how'd the team do down there last night, both as a team and individually?
Yeah, we did pretty decent. I mean, we didn't take the whole team. We just took 12 people, and our 4x8 team got third place, and we scored some points in triple jump, and then we had good performances in the shot put and some of the sprint races. So it's super early in the year, so it's hard to, judge anything off of it, especially since last week was pretty cold and hard to get out and get good quality practices in. So.
Yeah, Coach, the spring weather always seems to be a challenge, but especially this early in the season, it's just been cold and nasty, and looks like we're going to have another week of nasty weather. It may warm up a little bit, but it creates a challenge. And, Clint was talking there earlier, what an advantage that is to a team like the Marion team to have a facility like that to be able to practice and work out in every day.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We have 51 kids, and trying to give them some kind of actual practice in our gym upstairs it's pretty tough to do and keep it organized and get everybody working at the same time. So.
Yeah, Coach, but you got to be pleased with the numbers, having 51 kids out for track. You've got to be happy with those numbers.
Oh, yeah. Definitely pleased with 51, and our girls team has grown quite a bit this year, so that's a big help, and we've got a lot of good talent on both teams. And, 51's a good number. Of course, there's quite a few athletes in the school that could be there that aren't, but at the same time, around 50 kids is a good number to have.
Yeah, Coach, that seems to be more of a bigger challenge today, is to get kids out and get them involved in things. And so many kids are wanting to specialize only in one thing. And I don't know. I just hate to see that, because when you got a small school, your kids need to compete in everything. When I went to school and you went to school, for me, it's a lot longer than you, as it's my birthday today, and I'm feeling another year older here this morning. But high school seems like a long time ago. But our coaches encouraged us to participate in every event. And matter of fact, Coach Lee demanded that if your sport that you was really good in wasn't playing, you was going to be like the basketball guys. If you didn't play baseball, you were going to run track, one or the other.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept all the athletes involved and helped all the teams.
Yes, for sure. A lot of people underestimate the abilities that track and field builds for you and lends to all the other sports. And, there's a lot of them that could definitely benefit from it.
One of the strengths probably for your team will be your long-distance runners. I'm sure you've got several of your cross-country kids there, and your cross-country team is always strong year in, year out. So I'm just assuming off the top of my head here this morning that your long-distance events will be pretty strong.
Yeah, for sure. My long-distance is usually my strong point. And, of course, on the girls' side, our discus has been strong for the last few years. And then this year we've got some different field event people that will definitely help those out. But I would have to guess that our distance events will be the strong point.
Well, how do you think the Black Diamond season shakes out?
It's hard to tell because I haven't really seen any of the teams yet, so it's definitely hard to tell, but, we competed well last night against some really big teams, and so I think that's a benefit. We're missing a few key events, we're missing high jump. I don't really have anybody doing high jump right now, and I don't have anybody doing the short hurdles the 110s, and so we'll lose some points there. But I think we should be able to make those up in the other events.
That 110 high hurdles, that was always a challenge. That was one of my events.
Yeah, it's a tough race, and you could have a kid that is definitely able to do it, and he second guesses himself and decides that he doesn't want to take a chance of falling or anything like that, and they usually give up on it pretty early.
Well, I can tell you, it's not a good thing when you crash and burn. I did it at North City on the asphalt track, and it's a memory I'll not forget.
Road rash.
And I probably can still show you a scar or two from that. So I definitely understand the pain with that thought.
Right. Yeah, last year we got kind of lucky because we had, Jake Whipple decided to do the high hurdles, and he would run those, and then he would walk back to the start line and do the 100-meter dash, and usually do really well in both of them. So maybe I'll have a kid that decides he wants to do them this year and comes out of the woodwork and does really well.
Yeah, you just never know, do you?
No.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here this morning. Want to wish your team a lot of success this season, and thank you for what you do for the youth of Hamilton County.
No problem. Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show, Sam. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend, all right? Stay dry.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Sam Wilson, track and field coach at Hamilton County. That is good that the Foxes got into that indoor meet down at Marion last night. That's a great experience for them.
Sam, he's a big track and field guy.
Sure.
And you've really got to have somebody. The Foxes used to have Roger Lee in that capacity, and you got to have somebody that's really dedicated to that, because it's a lot of work and a lot of effort.
No, it is. I can remember the old tracks whenever we were in school. We used to have some of those old cinder tracks.
That's what we had at Hamilton County.
My goodness sakes, yeah.
It was cinders.
And today's kids don't understand how lucky they are to have these, these finished manicured tracks they have today, because, man, I'm telling you, you fall down on a cinder track, it's going to slice you up.
Oh, it was not pretty.
It was like falling down on glass, like shards of glass.
It was not pretty.
No, it wasn't pretty. It just opened you right up, and then you have this black stuff all over you. And, definitely some road rash. And, I think a lot of us have got scars on our knees and maybe the palms of our hands still from that. So those were the days.
Those were the good old days. That's what they talk about, the good old days.
The good old days. Hey, we said we were going to talk about the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association All-State basketball team, 1A and 2A. Let's go through some of these, Danny. 2 local players named to the first team All-State. In 1A, Tyler Winchester from Sesser, and in 2A, Bryce Boltman of Nashville. 2 outstanding players. Yeah,
Boltman's going to go to McKendree. I've not heard anything on Tyler Winchester, but I'm sure he's going to go play somewhere else also. So, that's a couple nice young men that are going to get an opportunity to probably continue their careers. Also, Boltman's going to go for the state tournament tonight.
Yeah, he is. You got a chance to do something really special. On the second team All-State, Blake McKay of Woodlawn, Will Albel of Oakville, Alec Biggs of Altamont, Carson Hewells of Waterloo-Jabot, Dawson Smith and Clint Weber, both of Teutopolis, Dawson Yates of Pinckneyville, and Austin Rager of Mount Carmel made second team All-State.
Yeah, Yates and Rager, that's 2 younger guys that are going to be back next season, and you got to think some big things coming for those young men.
Third team All-State, Tyson Kessler of Thompsonville, Carson Parker of Nashville, Keith Kiner of Chester, and Nate Brady of Trenton-Westland. Third team All-State.
Kessler was a great guard for that Thompsonville team. Then you've got Parker up at Nashville. He's going to be trying to get Wayne Harry's group over the hump, and he's just a junior also.
And then some All-State special mentions by the IBCA. Again, that's the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association. This was selected by the coaches. Special mention include Brian Estes of Fairfield, J.Zell O'Neill of Fairfield, C.J. Johnson of West Frankfort, Luke Richards of Casey Westfield, and Jacob Dust of Effingham St. Anthony.
That's a pretty good list. I'll just take those 5 right there, and we'll just go play.
You know what? You could do a lot with those 5. And again, they didn't make the first, second, or third team, but that's a heck of a crew there for special mention.
I'll take that group right there.
No doubt. They'd score some points, and they'd play some defense,
They can play on my team anytime.
Yeah. We got a surprise phone call this morning, I guess. I don't know for sure who this is, but caller, go ahead. You said you wanted to call?
Hey, what are you guys up to this morning?
A surprise caller. That's a surprise, all right.
Hey, Randy, I wanted to tell you, this winter, we was at McLeansboro doing a ball game, and during halftime, they was playing some classic rock.
Yep.
Nobody likes classic rock any more than old Billy Rocket does.
Right.
So I got to singing it, and it was on air, and then Danny started teasing me all winter long about singing at halftime.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know what? This morning I woke up in a singing mood. So are you guys ready?
We're ready. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Danny boy. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's the first time that's ever happened on the air.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that.
Well, Danny, we set you up this morning in case you didn't know. So,
yeah, imagine that with you two.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't said anything about your birthday yet, because I was waiting for this special surprise phone call to come in this morning. Oh, man.
Well, guys, one thing about it, I appreciate you both very much. We have a lot of good times together, and yous are 2 great friends, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, too. You know what, Billy? Danny can now go and order off of the senior citizen menu.
Oh, yeah, you know that double nickel.
That's right. He can order off the senior citizen menu now. He can actually go to McDonald's and get a senior coffee at McDonald's now.
I'll be getting my AARP deal on
Yeah, you'll be getting your AARP card.
Hey, Danny, Randy, the thing about the senior citizen menu is, though, you don't get enough portions like you do on a regular menu. And by watching him eat a couple of times, I don't know if the senior citizen menu will curb his appetite.
Well, it might not. But you know why they don't give you as big a portion, don't you?
Huh?
You know why they don't give you as big a portion on the senior citizen?
Why is that?
Well, because they figure you're missing some teeth by now. You know?
That's why they call it a toothbrush and not a toothbrush.
But I tell you one thing about you two guys. That's the pot calling the kettle black about eating.
And hospitality rooms?
Yeah, there's nobody can sniff one out better than Randy Olson, I promise you.
Hey, the skinniest guy on our broadcasting crew can sniff out a hospitality room.
Yeah, absolutely. He has no trouble.
Oh, boy. Well, Billy, what do you think about the state tournament games tonight with Nashville going up against Chicago Orr? You think they got a chance?
I tell you what, that Orr team's going to be hard to hold.
They are, aren't they?
They're athletic. They can get up down the court. They just, I don't know. That Nashville defense probably have to kick it up in second gear a little bit, but, you know, who knows? Mm-hmm. They've kept some good teams down to low-scoring games, you know. So.
I guarantee you, Wayne Harris set up all night. Well, the announcer asked him, said, well, Coach, are you going to get much sleep tonight? And he said, sleep will probably just be an option tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's had much sleep since the first of the year.
Yeah,
I don't think he has either.
You got a nice surprise last night after the Saluki loss.
I woke up this morning, and my wife was getting ready for work, and I walked in there, and I said, I am the happiest guy in Southern Illinois right now. She goes, I've seen your post.
Who's your candidate?
I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, you're talking about Division I basketball. You know, you're talking about recruiting. I will give Barry Henson one thing, though. He took the academic level from SIU and raised the bar on it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, that's what I said earlier, Billy. I said, you know what? People can say what they want to about this guy, but he come into a program that was about as low as it could get academic-wise and had nothing but a bunch of thugs in it.
Yeah, that's right. But he's always been the flower girl. He can't even make it to the bridesmaid part yet.
Yeah.
You know, to get to be the bride.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about winning. You got to win.
Mm-hmm. You've got to, from the grade school level on up, guys, we all know it's all about winning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and he's a super nice guy, but he just couldn't get into the tournament. I mean, 16 years in the Valley, and he never got into the tournament.
He'd be a great addition to a coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Chris Lowry went over to, over to Kansas State.
Right.
You know, that's probably a good deal for them, but as far as a head coach, I don't think he can cut it. But, you know.
Well, he's good at building relationships because he is a nice guy. He's good at building relationships, and maybe as an assistant with some seasoned coach, he might be a great addition to the staff. I agree with Danny. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. And you guys know as well as I do, recruiting is, you know, you could give me a Duke team and I can win 25 games, and I don't know nothing about coaching, you know. But it's all.
Billy, you'll be just like a guy. I had a pretty good girls team up at Dahlgren here a few years ago. Well, a lot of years ago now already. But anyway, guy come up to me after the game and he said, "You got a pretty good team there, Coach." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know what you need to do?" And I said, "No. What do I need to do?" He said, "You just need to sit down over there and stay out of the way and let them make you look smart."
Yeah. I coached 14 and under fast pitch girls summer in the Jefferson County Sports Authority one time, and one year we was good, and they knew they was good. And one of the girls asked me something, and I said, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do." I said, "I'm going to stay out of your way, and you just look good on paper right now." She goes, "What's that mean?" And I said, "You got to do it on the ball field." I said, me putting it in a scorebook or writing a lineup out is not going to win games. You're going to have to perform on the field, and I'll stay out of your way because I can't pitch like you guys. I probably can't even hit the pitching, you know. But I will help you and coach you along. And that SIU job, I don't know. You're talking about Division I again. Some of the three guys that you guys mentioned earlier was on my radar. You know, the Smith Peters boy down, John A. Logan, has had, just like I told Patty this morning, he wins 20-plus games every year. You know, so it kind of tells me he can recruit, you know, as far as the recruiting aspect. Now, you're going to get in, there's a lot of difference between your junior colleges and your college on your academic level and stuff.
Right.
You know, some kids just go 2 years of college, and that's all they do. You know, so the other 2 years, and at a big college, you know, that makes a lot of difference on that. So,
well, you know, Kent Williams, had been an assistant coach at Missouri State and at Tennessee and at SIU Edwardsville, and you know, one of the things that he did as an assistant coach there was he was involved in a lot of the recruiting, and so he understands recruiting. He can do recruiting. Whether or not they will give him a shot or take a look at him, or whether or not he's even interested, remains to be seen because he's in a pretty good situation right now over there at St. Louis DeSmet.
And you know, Tennessee, that's just not a small Division I school. They're right up there amongst the big dogs, you know.
Right, and he was there for 3 years.
Yes.
So
well, you know, I think for SIU, they've got to be looking at somebody that has kind of been a face of the program. I think they need that to put some people in the seats, and I think they'll maybe look to that, and they're going to look to a younger guy. Hey, money's always going to be an object here, and I think you're going to try to maybe get somebody that can win, that's going to be kind of cost efficient. I think they got to look at that, you know, just the way the state of the money situation is in schools and colleges and things. And I think for Smith Peters or Kent Williams, even Brian Mullins, that's a name that's been tossed around a lot. He's working over at Purdue right now as an assistant. He was a great player for SIU. I think those three young guys right there, I think the head coach will probably be one of those three.
Yeah, wasn't Mullins at Loyola Chicago for a while too?
I think he might have been. Yes. Yeah.
And but Sluky fans are different. I go enough to them games down there that a Sluky fan is a Sluky fan, and the way that is, if it would have been one of them three guys that had this team this year, they could have got by with it. Because they're familiar faces. That's what the Sluky fans want. I think Barry Henson, and even though you said he's a nice guy, I think he tends to run his mouth too much. I think there's times that I don't know if I could stay with him or not. But, you know.
Well,
them reporters don't want it. You know, there's some of them reporters that ask him a question, and he goes way off out there behind the light pole in right field. And I'm sitting there looking at that, I'm like, Where did that come from?
Yeah, a 10-minute answer to one question, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we all know, though, you're the guy that doesn't have anything to say.
No, no, and the camera lady said, I don't believe that.
Well, Billy, speaking of Division I basketball, big race in the Big Ten is going to come to a climax today as Michigan State plays Michigan at East Lansing, and Purdue is on the road at Northwestern. We got a three-way tie right now between Sparty and the Wolverines and the Boilermakers, so something's going to have to give today. And then the tournament, of course, starts next week, and then Selection Sunday right after that. So here we go, March Madness.
It's right around the corner, guys. It's right around the corner. Yeah. And one of the reasons I look forward to that 68-team tournament is I know baseball season is right behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, what about your Cubs? Any exciting news out of Cubville?
Well, when they built this team, they built it for 6 or 8, 9 years, and there's no reason if them boys has got potential to perform every year like they did in 2016, and if nothing else, they're just a little bit older, a little bit more mature.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I didn't think the Cubs needed to go into the off season making some big moves. One of the big moves is a move they made last year. If Yu Jarvis can come out and be a quality starter for the Cubs, that's a big addition to that Cub roster.
Yeah, he had a start the other day. He was throwing 97 mile an hour and said he felt good. So, if a guy could get 150, 180, 200 innings out of him, and then the Chatwood guy that could not throw a ball in the ocean struck out 2 in 1 inning the other day, and I'm like, good Lord, like, where'd that come from? He got in a funk last year, and, a baseball pitcher, a baseball hitter, and a basketball shooter, you shoot yourself in the slumps, you got to shoot yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
You pitch into slumps, you got to hit, you got to pitch out of slumps. I had a girl one time on the softball team, got in a pitching slump. And I'm like, well, I'm not no pitching coach, but I said, I think your release point is just gone off.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I can't sit here and throw it for you. You're just going to have to get on the sideline. Let's get you over at your dad on the sideline and let you throw and throw and throw and throw and throw. And next thing I know, she throwed herself out of that slump.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, Billy, get in the batter's box. I'm like, well, there ain't no way.
Well, the Cubs have named John Lester as their opening day starter, and they did get a win yesterday. They beat Seattle 9-3. So.
Yeah, I watched a little bit that last night. I'd recorded it after the Slokey game. And Rizzo, he hit one in space.
Mm-hmm. And the Cardinals had a split squad yesterday, but they won both games of the split squad. One part of the squad beat Washington, and one part beat Houston. So,
all I want is you to be competitive, because I don't want no excuses when the Cardinals get the Cubs. That's all I'm asking for this season is for Yins to be competitive and no excuses.
Okay, all right. So if I get beat by you by 6-5, that's competitive. But if I'm 5.5 games ahead in the central standings, that's okay, right?
Yeah, I guess it'll have to be, but I don't think that's how it's going to be.
I can see we're going to have some fun this year. Billy, hey, thanks a lot for the surprise phone call this morning. Well, okay, appreciate it. And
guys, thanks for having me, and I've had fun with you two all winter. Can't wait till next winter.
Oh, yeah.
And gosh, it wasn't just 2 or 3 days when the season's over. I was missing it.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, yeah. My wife and some friends took us out for supper last night, and we were down at the Red Onion at Equality, and walked by a table, and the guy reached out and grabbed me, and he said, "What's the deal?" He said, "Couldn't you find a basketball game to dial up tonight?" He said, I said to my wife, "I don't know what I'm going to do." She said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, I've listened to Danny all winter long and said he's not on the air tonight." She said, "What are we going to do?" And she said, "Well, maybe I can get you out of the recliner to take me out to eat tonight."
Yeah, I've had several guys that's fans of our local. Like I said, it's area sports. So, Wayne City, Woodlawn, all these Blueford, all these surrounding little towns. I've had people come in at our shop, for business. And they're like, God, I like listening to you guys. Your guys are so fair. You don't pick on nobody. You don't favor one team. You just tell it the way it is. Yeah.
We all try to.
Billy, that's one thing I always have set up there and tried to do. You know what? You may not like how I call a basketball game, and that's everybody's opinion.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to tell you just what I'm seeing. I'm not sugarcoating it for anybody. Any school, any player, any kid, I treat them all the same. If they make a great play, I recognize it. If they make a bonehead play, I'm probably going to say, boy, that was a bonehead play. You know what? But that's what people like, I think. They just like to have the fairness of it. And the people that we've had follow all our broadcast all season long is just a great testament to what we got. And I thank you guys for being involved in it, and we've had a lot of fun.
We have, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves, and we appreciate the audience so much. We appreciate the audience. Yep, we do.
Yeah. And, you know, even on the officials, me being one for 18 years, I'll tell you if he's right or wrong.
And you have.
You know.
I really like that part of it.
I know.
But I like it. Here's his best quote of the winter.
Okay.
I said, Billy, what do you think of that call? You know, he said, I didn't really see it. I said, that's what you used to tell the coach. Or I said, here's another one of your deals. I don't know, Coach. I wasn't watching. It's not my area. You know, he hasn't forgot all the one-liners.
Yeah, he still got them.
But Randy asked me one night. He said, "Billy, wasn't that a foul?" I said, "Did he blow the whistle?"
That's great. All right. Well, Billy, we're out of time.
Hey, you know, we were talking about them real quick timeouts, Danny.
Yep.
Yeah.
A referee has, by the rule book, a second to a second and a half of reaction time.
Yeah.
So by the time that timeout gets from the coach to the referee, sometimes that ball's almost loose. But they are at a second to second and a half reaction time for an official.
I'll agree with that, but there's a lot of times this thing's rolling unattended out across the floor and somebody's yelling timeout. I guarantee you if I'd stand up and yell from the broadcast booth timeout, I could get one.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Maybe so.
Sure.
Maybe so.
Hey, guys,
it might be a permanent timeout, but I could get one.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'll let you go. As I'm looking outside right now, this is a beautiful day if you're the duck.
Yeah, that's about it. Hey, I appreciate you calling in, Billy. All right.
Thanks for the birthday song.
Oh, no problem.
Next time, have Patty sing with you, okay, so there's better harmony. All right. Okay.
Okay.
See you now. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Billy Rocket, the Rocket Man. He's been on our broadcast throughout the year, and we have had fun with Billy, that's for sure. Former basketball official. And, he's brought an interesting insight to what we've done this year. So
yeah, you know, Randy, when I talk to people around, there's a lot of people come up and say things, and they don't have to. You know, it's kind of just what Joe Hossman down at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament. He put his arm around me and you, and he said some very nice things. And that wasn't preempted. We didn't pay him to get on there and say those things.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is some of the very rewarding things about what we do right there.
It's been a long season, been a tiring season, but been a fun season, too. And tonight, the Nashville Hornets will go for the state championship in 2A. We wish Wayno and all of them luck tonight against Chicago.
I hope he can get that done.
I just hope they can make it a close game competitive. Because if it's close down the stretch, boy, anything can happen.
Give him a chance.
And stay out of foul trouble, you know. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We're going to come back next week with another show, and then that'll probably be our final show of the season. Because
I'm going to leave you next week.
Are you?
I've got
you got to get into farming
mode? I'm going to an auction.
Oh, okay.
And
got to buy some stuff.
Well, me and my son and son-in-law are interested in a couple pieces there, and it's going to be some early sale items. So I'm going to leave it with you today.
Well, I might have to bring Billy in next week then or something.
He would like that.
But we'll do one more show next week, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for the season, and then we'll be back next year for football season. So
it's been a great winter, and I appreciate everything.
It has been fun. Happy birthday,
Thank you, Randy.
See, I've been holding off on saying that because we've been plotting this all morning.
Yeah,
see, when I was texting back and forth with Billy, you just thought I was checking my email. No, me and Billy were cooking some stuff up.
Yeah, there ain't anybody was any more excited or surprised than you. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you guys got me. That's for sure. You definitely got me. Don't think I could redo that on you.
Your wife done a great job.
She did. Thanks again to our sponsors, and thank you for watching and listening to Sports Couch this morning. Stay tuned for positive hit music coming up next. Mark Wells will be on the air with us here on The Vine. Have a great weekend, everyone. So long.
Positive Hits 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine.
I can feel the earth slipping from my feet. Got lost chasing dreams that I can't seem to reach.